Go. Good morning, Lily. I started to say good morning before it actually was live. Good to see you, Lily. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about
setting New Year's goals or
Exactly.
not. So what I think Lily and I are going to talk about what we do or what we've done in the past and what's worked for us and all that fun stuff. And I'd love to get your input in the audience if you guys are joining us. We already have someone in the audience already. Welcome, Sherry. Welcome. Good to see you here.
Hey, Sherry. So we were just talking. We want to find out about Sherry's goals as well with her videos.
Yes. I think it's very appropriate that we're talking about goals today, Sherry, because we want to find out. I know that you are going to do some videos and you went to your conference and I think you got some good footage. So we want to hear all about it. So let us know. Right now, you're just saying you're looking at a very messy desk. I can totally relate, Sherry. I have been cleaning my office and getting stuff prepared for my taxes, and my office is just a disaster. It's a disaster. So I can relate.
Oh, geez, taxes. I just thought about that right now. Oh my goodness, yeah. Got to deal with my taxes too.
Yep. It's one of those things you got to do as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So I love it, Sherry saying good morning, Lily Ma. I love it. So tell us, Sherry, when you get a minute, give us an update on your video making. So Lily, what did you do for the new year? Happy.
Yes. Well, I recently set a goal for myself about a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to go to bed at 10.
Okay.
And I've been very, very strict about it because for over the past, 15 years of my life, I have been living off of 4 hours of sleep every single night, sustained for a very long time. And I noticed that it was wearing on me. I don't know if it's an age thing. It could be. I'm in my 30s now, no longer in my 20s. I feel like I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I turned 33 in the past 2 weeks. I always felt like I was working a lot. Like I'm very busy, but I feel like I was doing nothing that important.
Right.
I was just like always behind the 8 ball. So I decided that I'm going to get some more sleep. And since then, I have been very good. I feel like I'm a lot more focused. I have a lot more clarity. My creativity is a lot better recently. And I'm still doing the same amount of work in less time. I think I just needed to
put some boundaries on your time. That's amazing. So what's really kind of cool is you went to bed on 10 o'clock at night on New Year's. I'm assuming that's where you were getting to. Is you actually stuck to your New Year's resolution on New Year's evening.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to budge at all. Like, of course, emergencies will happen. I'm going to be back in the swing of things. I'll be teaching dance classes till after 10. So those nights I can't. But when I could actually help it, I'm going to make sure that I go to bed at 10 all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. I definitely am somebody who really tends to fall asleep early and wakes up early. And so there definitely have been nights when I've tried to stay up late working and it doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know if that's what's happening for you, but like, if I'm really tired and I'm working late at night, like, it's like, I'm not getting any work done. Like, I might as well just go to bed. It'd be better if I woke up at 4 a.m. rather than, not that I actually do that. 4 a.m. is pretty early, but it'd be better to do that and, go to bed at 10 than try and sleep till midnight and wake up at 6, like, or whatever. Like, it just doesn't work for me to try and work in the evening personally, but I can relate with like wanting to do that. Like, that's that inclination to keep working and get stuff done. And especially with kids, like I have my daughter, especially when she was younger, like picking her up from dance and taking her places and things like that. It definitely, is like my time when I had, like, I could watch a show or whatever in the evening, and it's not necessarily the best thing to do, especially when you've got to be productive.
Yeah. I think it's this idea of just working a lot of hours, like hustling. A lot of people ask me how many hours of sleep I get, and for some weird reason, I thought it was like a badge of honor to say, "Oh yeah, I only sleep like 4 hours," because it makes me seem like I work harder. But the truth is, I wasn't working efficient. I was just being very busy, and a lot of those hours were spent doing things that weren't that important.
Well, it's interesting. You said earlier you didn't know if it was age or whatever, but for me, as I've gotten older, I feel like I need less sleep. So weirdly, like it's still much better for me if I go to bed earlier. I go to bed earlier and I wake up earlier and get stuff done. And what I'll tend to do is I'll wake up early, like, and stay in bed. So I'm still snuggled in bed, but I'm like reading my iPod, or reading a book on my iPhone, I should say. And like, that way I'm not waking anybody up because I can just flip the pages, on the screen. And it's great. I can actually get so much done in the morning early rather than like trying to stay up late. And so, but it's interesting. I definitely need less sleep overall, like in general. And I think that's kind of common. I think as women get older, they need less and less sleep. I don't know, but I've heard that's true, or at least our sleep cycles like change. Anyway, Sherry is just chatting it up in the chat box, so I gotta see. I wonder if she has any updates for us on her video.
I'm excited. Let's find out.
I know. Okay, so it says yes, she's downloading all the footage so she can go through it. And so that's great, Lily. We're excited to see your video. So you obviously still have some to produce, but that's cool that you did so much footage at your conference. And it looks like she too has lost sleep as she gets older. She said, wait till you hit 50. I'm one of those, it's 5 hours every day. Bed at midnight and up at 5:30. See, yeah, I think I'm kind of the same. Like, although I've been trying, like I said, get to bed a little earlier. I definitely like kind of 5-6 hours is the most days. Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I feel like sleeping in. But for the most part, that's enough sleep for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll see if things change. It's only been a few weeks and I'm feeling great.
Yeah. So how much sleep are you getting overall? Are you getting a full 8 hours now? Was that a silly question?
It's more like 9 to 10 hours. So
really?
Yeah. So, and I'm still getting the same amount of work done, which is incredible.
That is incredible. Like, I don't know if I could actually, maybe if I got in this, did it take you a while to be able to sleep that whole 8-10 hours?
Yeah. What I had to do was my getting ready for bed routine starts at like 9. So I have to sit in the candlelight from 9 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock I go to sleep.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's kind of a cool way to do it. Do you like write down stuff in the evening, like gratitude or journal?
Exactly. That's what I do at that time. I just think about the 3 things I'm grateful for that day, and then the lesson that I have learned, and then kind of reflect on it. And then, of course, I spend some time talking to my husband as well at that time. So it's our time together, and then we go to bed at 10.
Oh, that's really nice. That's great. I love it. And a little bit of romantic time too. I mean, even if it's just snuggles and talking, that's really romantic, I think.
Okay. What else?
So for setting goals, I'm curious how, if you set goals every year or if it's changed over the years and what you've done that's worked for you.
I could start by telling you things that hasn't worked in the past.
Yeah, great.
What hasn't worked for me personally is setting New Year's resolutions. It doesn't work for me because it almost comes from a place of scarcity. It's like, oh, what did I do wrong in 2017? So I'm going to try to correct it in 2018.
Right.
So that works for me for the month of January, which is like most people. Right? I'm going to get more fit. I'm going to eat healthier. What I do now is I review my goals every month.
Ooh, that's awesome.
I look at my calendar, look at the things I'm spending time on. Are things working? Are things not working? And whatever goals I have, I start it right away. That's another thing that I do that I found works. If I want to do something, I make it happen that day.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Like if I'm going to start right now. It's kind of like that same mentality as the challenge mentality. Like I'm going to challenge you to start something, do like 30 days. Like that's something I tried the last year. Rather than saying, okay, I'm going to get fit, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do a 30-day challenge and do like the 30. I did something that was kind of like the whole 30, like that fad that was going around last year. It's kind of like a 30-day detox or 28-day detox, something like that. And I just tried, like I thought, well, this would be a fun way to kick off the year and try like no sugar, no alcohol, no whatever for 30 days and then just see how I feel and then just make adjustments from there. It wasn't like I wanted to change my whole diet for the whole rest of the year, but it was kind of just a fun way to go. This is on my mind and I want to be cognizant of my diet and just kind of maybe try new things. Because I think sometimes when you do diets like that, it helps you try new recipes or, kind of open your eyes to what ingredients are in things and that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it's true. I went on a vegan challenge a couple of months ago because someone challenged me live on air, and throughout the mid challenge, I realized that, this is awesome. I'm just gonna be vegetarian most of the time and then maybe vegan one day a week because I felt so good without eating all the animal byproducts. So I just now I eat meat very rarely. I allow myself, the flexibility of eating meat once in a while, but I don't anymore. So it's the same thing as you said, it opens up your mind to different things. Now I have done different challenges that just don't work, like just not right for me, but I still do it. So Yeah, keeping an open mind
That's
is really
cool. I agree. I totally agree. I think speaking of vegan or vegetarian, one thing that we tried, I think I mentioned to you, my daughter did that for a little while. She wanted to go vegetarian. So we tried like different recipes for it was probably a good 30 days that, we stuck to it. And then she kind of just decided it wasn't for her. So that was
good.
fine. We decided it wasn't for all of us, right? We just tried it as a family. But one of the things we discovered was this amazing cookbook called Love and Lemons. And it's got like every single recipe, and it's kind of neat because it's like sort of categorized by vegetables. So like, let's say you have like a bunch of extra carrots or a bunch of extra chickpeas in your fridge, you can look up the recipes by like what kind of veggies do you have. And but what was really neat is everything felt kind of like a gourmet meal. Like it just was elegantly made, and it was like really delicious, and really cognizant of like making sure you get protein and stuff too in your meals. And so I'm bringing it up though because not necessarily because you want to go get the cookbook, but although you might, because it's a really great cookbook. But I recently discovered, like months later, that they have a blog. So anybody out there who wants to try some awesome vegetarian meals, it is really, like, I highly recommend it. It's so good.
Love and lemons. Okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah, really, really good. But anyway, back to goal setting. Quick little tangent there.
No, it's good. I mean,
Uh,
it's all part of healthy eating.
Yeah, I love it. Even Sherry's commenting. She said that she eats mostly out of her garden. That's amazing. And she
Oh,
loves
that
to
is
eat fish and
so good.
chicken. Yeah, fish and chicken is so good for you. Yeah, that's really cool when you have a good garden. Like here in the Northwest, we can grow quite a bit of stuff. But of course, during like this month, unless you're growing it out of your window garden, it's hard to find stuff in your garden.
Oh, that's so good. So, Jen, do you have any goals for 2018, or do you not set goals?
It's funny because I tried different things in the past, like you. Like I've done like the whole New Year's resolution thing, which didn't really work. And like I mentioned last year, I did like just a fun challenge. But one thing that I started doing a few years ago that I still do now, and I think it really works for me, is I write down the kind of person that I want to be, rather than like all
Mm,
the things that I want to do. So like I want to be compassionate, I want to be feminine, I want to be sensual, that kind of thing. Because to me, that's more encompassing. It just kind of is more like a guiding um, a guiding light rather than just like, oh, I have to go do these things, right? It's kind of like, this is how I want to be. And this year I also, a few things have kind of come into play because I've actually gone to a few different sort of goal setting different things this year.
yeah.
And one of the things I think I mentioned to you, or maybe I mentioned on my chocolate for breakfast, was the fantasy gratitude exercise. So you write down all the things you are grateful for as if some of your goals have already come true. So like, I am grateful that I have a thin waist. I am grateful that I have an awesome relationship with my daughter. I am grateful that, those kinds of things. Like you write down all the things that maybe some of them are true already, and some of them are just like sort of goals of yours, but you write them down as if they've already come true, which I really love.
I do like that because it kind of takes away from the negativity. Because some people are like, oh, I need to lose weight. Right. If I don't lose weight, I'm not going to be happy or something like that. So it's like you're already taking the perspective of positivity.
Right, exactly. And coming
Mm.
from that place um of like, instead of lack, I guess is the right word. Like you already are embodying those things. Like Jay's saying, you are. Hi, by the way, hi Jay, welcome to the chat.
Hello,
I
Jane.
just noticed a box there saying, yeah, you are passionate, sensual, and feminine. And that's exactly it. Like the more that you can. But I think even if you are those things, it just is a reminder that you want to continue to be those things, right? If you're saying those things and like posting those things. And actually, funny enough, Jay and Evan got me a gift one year for my birthday. It was a pillow, and it had some of those statements that are like things that I want to embody on that pillow, which was it was an awesome birthday gift. But it's like they're in my office, and it's a reminder every day of these things that I want to continue to embody.
I love it. I love it. I'm very different now at the age of 33 than I was when I was 23. I always felt like I had to do more to be more all the time.
Right.
And recently, I'm in the personal development world, so I have been doing a lot of work on myself, my inner work. And now I feel like I am enough, and everything I do kind of flows through me. And as a result, I've been able to do my best work yet
Yeah.
because I don't come from a place of lack, like you were saying. It's like I'm already
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Exactly,
Good.
exactly. You know, it's really interesting. I've mentioned a couple of times in my videos, I don't think ever in a discussion with you, but I'm part of the David Bayer Mind Hack program. And one of the things he talks about, which I think is really interesting, is
Can you repeat that again? Which one is it,
David
David?
Bayer. David Bayer, yeah, he's like he has a program. It's called Mind Hack, and it's all
Okay.
on mindset issues. So it's so ways to kind of overcome all that mindset stuff that gets in the way of you. Like basically, all a way to kind of he has basically a methodology that helps you improve sort of your limiting beliefs. So
Okay.
rather than feeling like you can't do this or you don't have enough money or you don't have enough time and whatever, he has this whole methodology that he walks you through, and it's really really effective. But one of the things that he talks about with goal setting is like what happens with a lot of us is when we set goals, we'll set a goal for the new year, and a lot of it's about doing something or getting a result, like like you were saying. And the problem is that like the reason why we stop sometimes is that we often will just like not really look at all of our beliefs around getting that thing done, right? So let's say that I have this goal to do a new video series, for example. Even if I had that goal, I'm not going to get it done if I have all these beliefs like I don't have enough time to do it, I don't have enough creativity to do it, I don't have the resources, I don't have the whatever. And like, so the idea is, what happens to a lot of us is like we are so action oriented rather than really looking at what our beliefs and decisions about those things are before we even get them done, right?
Yeah.
So with you being in
Yeah.
the that whole development world, I'm sure that that's a similar kind of thing that I don't know if you've thought about it in that exact same way, but I think that's similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the things that I always walk my clients through is that first you need to find out who you are, right? Who you truly are. And that's a process because we
Yes.
as human beings, we are a process. Like our cells are constantly regenerating, we're constantly growing. You know, as I'm talking to you, I'm a couple seconds older than I was before. So it's a
Right.
constant, I know, it's mind-boggling if
That
I
is
actually
mind boggling.
think about
Yeah.
it. But we're always, it's a process to really find out who you are. And then also detaching themselves from the things, their accomplishments, their material worth and all of that, and then really understanding what it is that they want. And then we strategize how to get there. But it's never tied to their self-worth and who they are as people. I think I have been through been through it myself. I think we talked about it last week, that I
Yes.
tied my worthiness to how expensive my clothes were. I tied my worthiness to how good looking I was, all of that. And that, in a short period of time, it actually works well because you're so intense and so obsessed with your goals. But in the long term, you're actually very, very sad. It's a sad
Right.
world to be in when you tie your worth to that. So a lot of my work is based on that.
Yeah, I love that because actually one of the things I never really got a chance to get to this yet because I was going on many tangents about
We're
different
all
ways
going
I
through
set
many tangents.
goals in the past. Was that my main goal this year is actually just to stay committed to myself, to just be committed to me and what is important to me in my life right at that moment. Because I think it can change too, right? It can change from minute to minute and based on how you're feeling about what situation you're in. And so I think if I can just remember, I need to stay committed to what is important for me, where my values are, and stay true to that, then that's going to guide me no matter what I accomplish, right? And so, kind of like what you're saying, like if you start with yourself and who you are, which is kind of what I'm trying to do, then you can't go wrong, right? No matter what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I went to this. Actually, it was really really a cool metaphor. I went to this like networking meeting. It was a bunch of coaches there, and they were kind of joking about how alignment is the new word, to say
I was
align.
just about to use it. I was like, so you know that your goals are always aligned with who you are.
Right, exactly. And they were talking and they were joking about that. They were like, yeah, the new buzzword is aligned and we have to stay aligned with, who we are. But they were saying truly, if you think about it as like if you're shooting darts, like you're at a club and you're shooting darts at a dartboard, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You may have heard this metaphor before, but I love it. So if you are, just 1 degree off, like directionally, right? Like it's already hard enough to get that dartboard, right? It's hard, like if we're shooting at that dartboard, it's hard enough to get at. But if we are not completely aligned with the dartboard, right? We're just like 1 degree off and we're just shooting like 1 degree over, we're obviously not going to hit it at all. Like the chances of hitting the middle are probably not great unless you're like really all over the place with your dart throwing, which maybe you are, maybe I am. But I love that analogy of like looking at what's, like just like how, especially if you think about it, like when you're at a certain distance, tiny bit makes a big difference in the where you land.
Yeah, yeah. Alignment. It's
Yes.
important. So what are some of the things that you do to align yourself, Jen?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I think what I've begun to do more and more is just listen to my gut and
Mm,
how my body is feeling. Because I think in the past I tried to overthink things. And I think I'm just not somebody who enjoys thinking about details. And also, I think sometimes our brains like can over make logic for something that really, because you can justify anything, right? You can make a logical argument for just about anything. And so if you're not paying attention to yourself and how you're feeling, you might accidentally make logic for something that's not, in alignment. Let's go back to that word again, right? To how my body is feeling about that. And so I
mm.
think it's important to listen to your body. What about you?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I try to follow my intuition as much as possible. I think it's getting better as I'm practicing more of that. I think in the past, I've been in so many situations that I have like a weird feeling about something, and I will still go through with it because I would second guess my intuition, and it ends
Mm-hmm.
up being the wrong thing for me. And I did that so many times in my life. Now I'm more cognizant of that. I practice meditation every single day, which
See,
is
that's one thing
which
I
is what
haven't done.
helps.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I
come?
kind of, as Jay says in the box, I dance,
Mm,
which I totally is a big thing for me too. Like I feel like movement in general is huge, but I think dancing is it's almost like another form of meditation. That actually might be a really great topic for us in the future is talk about meditation because I feel like there's so many different forms of meditation. Like I've talked about on my channel about how like even fantasy in a way is a meditation. Like you can sit and zone out on something that you just enjoy, and that can be a meditation, right? Even if it's like a vision for something you want to come true, which is kind of like a fantasy in my head. But I think also dancing is a different kind of meditation because like it takes your focus, like your mind is focused on one thing. And so it's not letting all that other clutter get in the way, right? So it's kind of like a great way to kind of really practice that focus. I don't know. What do you think? You're a dancer too.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. There's different kinds of meditation, and I don't really get too wrapped up on the types of meditation there are. I have done walking meditations. I have done eating meditations. I've done all sorts of different things. All it is that you are not allowing your negative mental chatter to overcome you. That's all it
Okay.
is. And if
Okay.
you're doing it through dance, like when you're dancing, you're only concerned about connecting to your body and to the choreography. You're not worried like, oh, am I doing this right? Oh my God. And then in seventh grade, someone rejected me. Like you're not thinking about that. So
Right.
that's the right kind of meditation for you. It doesn't have to be any specific type, I
Yeah,
think.
I think that's why I love it so much because it occupies my brain in a way that like you're right, it doesn't allow any negative because I'm focused on the move and like and also just the joy of the movement. Like it just feels so good to me. It feels good to express myself in that way. And so I'm like totally in the moment and not there's no mind like clutter in the way at all.
Hmm.
Period. When I dance.
Hmm.
Like very rarely. Like I'm not even usually self-critical when I'm dancing because sometimes you can be right like if you're not I don't know if you've ever felt like I'm not hitting that move or I'm like trying really hard to do this one thing my body's not doing it like you're like your mind is telling you your body to do it and it's not doing
Yeah.
it you're like why isn't it doing it
Yeah.
but even then like I tend to try and focus more on okay this is just an experiment like this is like I think that's one of the beautiful things about dance is like you have to kind of screw up in order to get there and like you just have to accept that it's almost like that exercise and practice of you have to almost fail first because if you don't like go full out and like not hit the move on the certain beat then you're just not gonna ever hit it
Yeah.
anyway yeah
Yeah. That's a life lesson, Jen.
yes I totally agree well in the chat box I'm gonna look again because I think Sherry said something about her how she sets goals and I wanted to go back to that let's see she says she got a new notebook and dated it and each day she's making goals for the day. And if for some reason, like yesterday, I had a laid back day, I just have to add those items to today. I love it. I love it. That's a kind of like a Stephen Covey exercise too, where if you write down your goals for the day, that you should cross out what got done, and then whatever didn't get done, move it forward. And then watch yourself move these goals forward. Like, how often are you moving goals forward that you're not accomplishing, and why aren't you doing? Like, then that's when you ask the questions, like, why aren't you doing it? Like, is it because you don't have something you need to get it done, or is it because of some mind stuff that's getting in the way? Or whatever, right? I
Yeah.
love that. And then Sherry also says her first goal is to get up and go for a 5-mile run. I love it. And she used to do it with the injuries, but stopped me. And now she still has injuries, but she still does it. I love it. And she says, thanks to Casey Neistat. I love Casey Neistat.
Oh, I love him. He is so
Yeah.
awesome. I love his stuff. I don't watch his stuff as much as I want to, but once in a while, I'm subscribed to his channel. So once in a
Yeah.
while, I'll go in and take a peek, and he does incredible work.
Yeah. He by far is one of my favorite YouTubers. I think there's just something really, uh, just about his presence. Like it's just entertaining, like just to watch him. I think that's what it is. Like it's hard to describe. Like he's obviously a great storyteller and he's known for his video angles and stuff, but just him himself, like it's just entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he has recently gone running and had some major injuries, but continued to run anyway. So that's cool, Sherry, that you got inspired through Casey. I have a good friend, my friend Cara, who I did the Chocoholic thing. She got a knee injury a few years ago because of she was running every day. And so she had to stop running and stop dancing. And like the injury took forever. She had like surgery on her knee. It took forever for it to heal. And just recently she said she just started running anyway because she just really wanted to. And she just really wanted that pleasure of that movement. And she's like, I know the doctors would kill me for doing it. She's like, but I'm still doing it and I'm feeling fine. So I think that's kind of amazing. Sometimes if you listen to yourself and your own body, going back to what we were saying earlier, you just go through it. Just be careful, right? Just feel your body out and see how it feels.
Yes, yes. I have done the same thing. I had a chiropractor told me to quit dancing altogether because I was getting so much pain. And then I didn't listen to him. I actually went home and I cried for a long period of time. This was when I was in my early 20s. Because dance brings me so much joy and happiness. For someone to tell you that you can't dance is just, it's the most devastating thing for me at the time. So same thing as someone who runs. If someone tells you you can't run, it's so devastating.
Yes.
Yeah, listen to your body. Be careful, of course. And, just always be in tune, aligned with your body.
Exactly. I love that. It's funny because actually, I think I mentioned to you, I got a really bad car accident a few years ago. And that was actually something that he told me, the doctors, when I got in the accident, because I broke 4 of my ribs. And they said, it's going to take you like 6 to 8 weeks to get better. And you can't exercise, you can't dance, you can't run, you can't. And I was like, oh, what? And I was like devastated. And I was we were just starting practice for our second performance. It wasn't too long after I joined the dance group I belonged to. And it was our second performance, and it was only like an 8-week practice schedule. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm going to miss this performance. And so I called my choreographer Lo and was like, hey, I can't be in this thing. Like, I'm so bummed. I broke my ribs. And anyway, she, for the first 2 weeks, came over to my house and helped me stretch. And we just were stretching. And at the first I couldn't, I broke my ribs. I could barely move. I could barely touch my toe. I mean, I couldn't touch my toes. But by the end of the second week, I could touch my toes. And I went to dance class. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go and I'm just going to take it really easy and listen to my body. Even though they told me I can't exercise, I'm not going to like put a bunch of pressure on my ribs, or I'm not going to do anything crazy. And I just slowly started dancing. Like I just, like you said, listened to my body. And when I went to the follow-up appointment, it was like a week after I had started dancing. And I said, so I'm like, just so you know, I've sort of slowly started dancing. And he was like, okay, just be careful. And I said, okay, well, what kind of, should I go to physical therapy, or what should I do to, help myself heal? And he said, well, honestly, he's like, I can't think of anything better than dance. He's like, because you really want to have that full range of movement, because people used to think like when you broke your ribs, you should like stay still and not move. And they've actually discovered that's really bad, because what happens is your body heals in one place and it's not good for it. So he's like, you want that full body range of movement. He's like, so actually, if you just dance, then you don't even need to go to physical therapy. And I was like, what?
Wow. Oh my God. Oh, that's so good.
Isn't that cool? Good. So you got to do what gives your body joy, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. So it looks like, and Sherry, I know, loves to ski. That's one of the things that gives her joy. And she just said that she loves ballet. And she took classes in her 20s and gave up. Ballet is hard, isn't it, Sherry? Oh my God, it's so hard. And she lettered in gymnastics. That's impressive. That is impressive, because gymnastics is tough, man.
Yeah, I hate being upside down, so I think gymnastics might be a little bit concerning for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of work. But it looks like, wow, it looks like Sherry's had 5 surgeries and a back surgery last year. And this is all on your knee, Sherry? She's torn her ACL, which is I think what happened to my friend Cara. I think she tore her ACL also. And she had to stop skiing. But did it really stop her from skiing? Not really. I love it. So Sherry, you're doing the same exact thing. You're just doing what you love. I love it. And I think it helps you stay in tune with your goals too, when you're doing things that you love because you're listening to yourself.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, Lily, I think we're just about out of time. So we will have to resume this conversation next week. Maybe we can talk more about meditation or whatever else we want to talk about. We'll have to feel it out, see how we're feeling.
Yes, exactly.
See what's in alignment.
What's in alignment? The catchphrase, alignment. Feel your body and align with yourself. Like you should do.
It's great. Thank you so much, Sherry and Jay, also for joining us. Appreciate it. Good luck with all of your New Year's goals, both of you, and you too, Lily, or non-goals or whatever.
Alignment goals. My alignment.
Exactly. And we'll see you next week, Lily. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.